We need to stop feeding this toxic belief that women like the chase, even when we express verbally or non verbally that we're not interested. This idea only exists because we learned it from previous generations. Back then, or unfortunately even now, women were taught that to get the guy, they had to play hard to get, even though they liked the guy. Meanwhile, men were taught that you shouldn't take no for an answer if you were a real man. Imagine a salesperson approaches you to sell you something you're not interested in buying. If you're lucky, that salesperson has the IQ and EQ to communicate with you and find out what you like, dislike, what you're willing to explore, and what's a deal breaker. If they find that you're not a good fit or you've expressed that you're not interested, they move on. If they think you're a good fit and are confused as to why you said no, they'll probably ask if there's a chance you'll change your mind. And if it's still a no or you're not responsive, they'll move on. They're smart enough to know when to cut their losses, move on, and spend time on finding better matches instead of wasting a lot of their time convincing you to be interested in them or that they're right for you when they're not. Unfortunately, you don't always get that salesperson. Most times, you get that salesperson that makes you uncomfortable and leaves you with a bad experience that you'll remember for the next time another salesperson approaches you. Maybe you had an experience where you said no in the past, but that salesperson didn't react well to your rejection. They probably tried different ways to convince you to buy, and if you were lucky, they'd get tired of trying to convince you. But if you weren't, you probably got tired of them, buckled under their pressure, and eventually bought whatever the hell they were selling because that was the only way for you to move on with your life. Some of you experienced so much of this in the past that the next time it happens, you feel like the path of least resistance should be non-confrontational. You'll smile, be friendly, maybe laugh awkwardly, and let the salesperson do their thing so that it softens the blow when it comes time to reject them later. Do you see how ridiculous it sounds when you say women like to be chased after even when they're not interested? If we don't like being chased by salespeople, why would it be any different in a personal setting? Especially when the risk is much higher in our personal lives because of the potential threat of violence that we will experience as a result of saying no. It's 2022. Let's put the idea of the chase behind us and focus more on healthy communication and respecting boundaries.